Hey, what is going on, everybody? It is Blue. We are back with an interesting video. Basically, what this video is today is going to be a discussion-based video on how Feral Druid is currently. What do you think about Feral Druid? How are you enjoying Feral Druid? And we're going to go over a very interesting post that somebody posted on my on the Feral Cat Theory Discord. Is Guilty. Guilty's going over some kind of interesting new set of rules, as you can read it here. In AoE, he's saying, hey, you're basically going to do your finishers with 4 combo points. Then in single target, if you're running Blood Talons, you want to do 5. But if you're running Lion Strength, you're always just going to do 4 combo point finishers. And it's really interesting. And basically, I kind of want to discuss that. And I want to discuss the state of Feral and kind of where I'm at with Feral Druid. And then I kind of want to just, open it up for discussions. I want to read your guys' comments. I want to comment and just see where you guys are at. So currently, with my Feral Druid, I will let you guys know I'm not playing it. And and it's basically ever since patch 10.07 took into effect, when I log on to my Feral, it's kind of this issue where it's kind of like disappointment, right? And where that is coming from is my stats, okay? And I can work on my stats and make them better, but my stats are really off. And there's a lot of decisions that I made at the beginning of the expansion because I was specifically trying to stat mastery, haste, as you guys know. You guys are very aware. So with that, at the beginning of the expansion, I've made decisions with my vault. I've made a lot of decisions that have impacted my character a lot. For instance, I have the wrist, haste mastery. I have the neck, haste mastery, right? I have the head. And the head's a big one for me. And every time I look at this head, I'm just like, I get kind of like frustrated with my decision. This headpiece, this 421 headpiece, was a crit mastery headpiece. And then I turned that crit mastery headpiece into a tier piece because it was the best thing. If I'm running haste mastery, it was the best thing to make this headpiece the tier piece, right? And then I have other, haste masteries. And I found myself really, I'm like, oh man, I really want to get my crit mastery up. And I'm having a difficult time, but I just look at my character and I'm disappointed, okay? So that is one thing. Another thing that I found interesting is as I'm trying to change my stats, I'm not enjoying, and I gotta word this correctly, I'm not enjoying the spec anymore. And I know that this is my bias. I was very aware of that when I posted the Bite build video. I have strong opinions about the Bite build, build, and it may not be shared amongst the community, and that's fine. But I myself, I really don't enjoy it. I don't find it fun, and I think what happened, and I've started figuring this out, and especially when I got this, I basically did 1+20 last week, and in my vault, I got this weapon. Okay. If you asked me last expansion or last patch, the beginning of the expansion, this would be the best weapon in the game. Okay. And if I got this in my vault, the beginning of the expansion, I would be high for like the entire week. I'd be like, oh, I'd look at my character and be like, damn, that weapon's nice, right? And I'd be so excited about this. I got this in my vault today, and I've already been upset with my character, and I haven't been putting the time and effort in to really change my gear. But I got this, and I'm just like, damn, I'm already horribly statted, and now I have this, okay? And basically the realization that I've come to is I do not enjoy playing the spec anymore as crit mastery. Okay? Even though I'm still terribly statted, as I've tried to get more crit and mastery, I found the rotation to be a little slow. Okay? And a fault of this could be that I've been playing and I've been maining Brewmaster Monk. And Brewmaster Monk, if you're not aware, every second, basically almost all the time, every second you want to press 2 buttons. Okay? So basically you're never waiting, you're always pressing something, and it's very entertaining. Now, Feral Druid is not like that at all. And especially as you start taking away more haste and more haste, it becomes a spec where you're really reliant on those procs, but then it's also a lot slower. Now, with that said, it may be fixed. It may be fixed by doing what Guilty here is suggesting. It may be fixed by doing that. But I have found that I need to go back and play the spec as Haste Mastery. And if I don't do that, if I don't go back and restat my stats, what I'm going to do, I'm going to restat everything to go Haste Mastery, because that's how I enjoy playing the spec. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the DPS loss and do Haste Mastery, because if I don't really do that, I'm just not going to play the spec at all because I don't enjoy it. So I found that that's what I'm going to do, and that's just really the highlight for me that I've really, and I never imagined this. I never imagined ever going Haste Mastery or Mastery Haste and really enjoying it, but for whatever reason, I do. I like looking at my graph, and I like seeing bleeds do more and be more impactful, right? And it was just a highlight for me playing Feral Druid, and then moving to 10.0.7, it just kind of went down, and I can't reach that high that I was at. So for me, I think I need to make the decision that I'm going to restat everything, and I'm going to just go Haste Mastery, Mastery Haste, and I'm just going to enjoy playing the spec again how I want to play it as a DPS loss, okay? So that's kind of how I feel with the game, and I'm kind of curious if anybody else is similar. Now, I do understand there's probably not a lot of people that have played that, and maybe they're a little bit different, but for me, I find the spec very much slow, okay? Now, with that said, let's go ahead and cover Guilty's rules, because, the slowness of it, this can very much fix this, and if this is the case, I want to say this video is more my thoughts. This is not me double-checking Guilty. Now, what I will say about Guilty, and I don't want to poke fingers, because any chance I get, I definitely will poke fingers at Guilty, but what I will say is the difference between me and him, I would say that I usually have the advantage with newer content, with the information I provide. Now, the reason why that is I put all of my information and testing in dummies, right? So I can get the results immediately, and if I want to change something, I can change it, and then I can get results immediately. Now, that might not be the most accurate information, but what Guilty does is he takes his information and he takes it out of game, and he basically does simulations. Now, I don't know if he writes the codes or not, but he is very much simulations, and it is a good thing because he does that, we can get information like this that I would have never thought. There are people and individuals that have requested of me to look into this, and I haven't. I failed you guys on that part. I'll be honest with you guys. And that's really great of you guys to kind of have that inclination to be like, hey, what about this, right? Now, the thing is why I say I have the advantage over Guilty is this is a brand new expansion. I would guess that he has to rewrite the entire code because there's new things that are being implemented, brand new talents that are going to affect your damage, your rotation, everything. And even if he writes the code complete, he's going to get a result, but how is he to know that that result is accurate, right? You're just not. There may be something in the code that needs to be fixed or isn't working correctly, even though it's producing a result. So I would say over time, elongated, as you test and change the code and fix it and make it more accurate, you can get more accurate information. But I would say generally I have the advantage at the start, right? Because I don't rely on those things as much. But, which is good, and I'm going to say that I did not double check him, I'm just going to give him the benefit of the doubt that it has been a lot of months that I'm sure there's been many changes, and that code is probably more accurate, right? So with that said, I'm going to trust that what he's saying is correct, right? So he's saying in AoE situations, we're always going to 4 combo points. Now, I want to pose the question to you because I don't want to put my bias out and say, hey, as a Feral guy that plays Feral Druid and has a channel that some people watch, this is not how Feral should play. You know, that doesn't make sense, and it's not right for me to say this. And I even, I've never played Rogue. But from my understanding of Rogue or how it is played in the past, of maybe me watching somebody stream of somebody playing Rogue, it seemed apparent that there are combo point finishing moves that you do when you're not full combo points. Now, I don't know if that's a past thing, but I found that very interesting that Rogue can play like that, where Feral Druid never played like that. You always fill up your combo points before you do a finisher, and Rogue didn't need to do that, right? And I don't know the specific situations or scenarios that was the case. But with that said, maybe Feral doesn't need to play like that. Maybe Feral should play like this 4 combo points, And this is where I want to pose the thought for you guys. What do you think about that? Is this how Feral should play? And maybe this very much is a fix to how slow the spec is right now, or maybe my opinions of how slow the spec is. I played Windwalker a little bit, and Windwalker is also very fast. I've never played Rogue, but I imagine Rogue is also very fast playstyle. So I'm just wondering, as an energy spec in the game, I think we are probably the only spec that is still very slowed down. And it's just to the point where I'm not really enjoying that anymore. I kind of want a faster playstyle from Feral Druid. But basically, what this is saying, too, is our combo point generating abilities are not hitting hard enough to make up for the power that our finishing moves have. Okay? So it's basically saying you have 4 combo points. It is not worth it to do a combo point finish or combo point ability because, 1, it does barely any damage, and 2, it exhausts your resources, which are really important, okay? And then we're getting to the point where it's just like, because of those things, and our finishers are so strong, it doesn't make sense. So I can believe this to be the case, right? But then that gets to the point, well, if our finishers are so strong and our combo point generating abilities are so weak that it doesn't even make sense to fill up our bars, I foresee us getting to the point where we're going back to Shadowlands, and I know this. I basically know. I don't know it, but the way that this expansion is going to continue and agility is going to continue, we are not going to get to the point Shadowlands was. But the way Feral always plays is it is a finishing. The damage is in finishing moves. It's in finishing moves. It's in bite. The way that bite builds work right now is it doesn't take a genius to foresee that bite at the end of this expansion is going to get out of control, and it's going to be back close to what Shadowlands Feral used to play as, where bite was a ridiculous portion of your damage, and you had this maybe complex rotation that really was insignificant and meant nothing that you were doing this rotation because all the damage is in bite, right? So I do foresee us getting back to that, maybe not super exaggerated like it was in Shadowlands, but that's just how the spec plays, and it's just like, are you guys happy with that? That it's to the point where already at the beginning of the expansion, we're just not even pressing our combo point abilities because our finishing moves are so strong. So those are my thoughts, you guys. Obviously, a lot at you at once. But yeah, how are you enjoying Feral? And I will say, a lot of people are playing Feral, and it's just I'm in such a weird spot because I see more and more Feral Druids in the keys that I'm running, and I see them doing well, and I'm just like excited for them. Just like, dude, yeah, Feral is so fun. I'm excited for you guys to be playing Feral. But then at the same point, I'm just like, yeah, but I'm not enjoying it. Like, I get excited when I see Feral Druids, but I can't log on to my Feral and be excited. You know, so it's so weird. It's a weird state that I'm in. I think I'm going to definitely fix that, correcting my stats. I think I'll get back to the high where I can look at this weapon and be like, hell yeah, instead of just like, oh no, you know, because it is a good weapon, you know, but I just need to respect the stats and go back to being excited about haste. But yeah, what are you guys' kind of thoughts on that? Probably most of you guys never ran the haste build. Um, and what are your thoughts about basically what Guilty's saying are the new rules? You know, in AoE, always 4 combo points. In single target, if you're running Lion Strength, always 4 combo points. So very, very interesting. I just kind of want to pose that question, have a discussion. But anyways, it was good to make another video, kind of get back with you guys. I mean, I'm excited to read your comments and see what you guys think. I'm excited to see what Feral becomes in the future. Like, is this something that the devs are going to address as a problem, or is this something that they're going to double down and be like, yeah, this is what Feral needs to play like, which would be really exciting, you know, for some type of change in play style. But that's it for me. Take it easy. Hope you guys are all well. Peace out.